why would I want to arrest you?
Well, I don't want you to arrest me, but
Yeah,
I
don't want to arrest you and take you to custody. I am going to arrest you for failing to provide a valid ticket to travel.
When the badge turns silent, the body cam speaks. Rights violated.
This episode is brought to us by Auditor Alex Lennon. Be sure to check the link below and subscribe to his channel and give him the credit he deserves. In this episode, Auditor Alex Lennon faces one of the most ridiculous arrests you'll ever see. After rushing for his train, Alex is stopped by Murray staff for not showing a printed ticket, even though he'd already bought it online. What should have been a quick civil misunderstanding turns into chaos when British Transport Police arrive and completely lose the plot. Instead of using basic common sense, one officer decides to escalate it to a full-blown arrest because Alex doesn't provide his details to staff and security.
I paid the money.
You haven't. You can refund
I have paid the money.
You're not listening. You're shutting your mind. You're not open-minded.
So
you're just
what
tunnel vision
are you trying to tell me?
We'll let the police come, the British
We'll let the
Transport
British
Police.
Transport Police
We'll
come?
get your details.
Well, they will they will arrest me.
They'll get your details.
They will arrest me.
But you're not going to give them your details.
If they arrest me, then I will give them my details. I'm being denied exit from the station.
Right, have you purchased a ticket
Yes.
where you boarded the train?
I purchased the ticket and I can show evidence of that.
Right, have you printed that ticket
I wasn't
off?
able to get it printed, no.
Right, is there a reason why you were unable to get it printed
I was running
off?
for the train. I have to be in a really important meeting in Reading, and I had to run to get the train because it was going to cause me enormous problems if I didn't get that train and was delayed for that really important meeting in Reading.
Right.
And I thought, quite reasonably, that I've paid for a ticket.
Yeah.
I can prove I paid for a ticket. I can prove I've got the code for the ticket. And I literally, as I've said to these people, all I need to do is to go there to get that ticket and to show these people the ticket that I have purchased and paid for.
From the very beginning, this should have been solved in seconds. Alex clearly says he already paid for his ticket. He just didn't have time to print it because he was in a hurry. He has proof on his phone, the booking code, and he's even next to a ticket machine where he can print it right away. This isn't avoiding payment, it's just common sense. Alex is doing everything right. He's honest, cooperative, and ready to show proof immediately. Any reasonable officer or rail staff would have checked his booking, confirmed it, and let him go. Instead, what should have been a quick check turned into an unnecessary problem.
I understand their reasoning. All I'm saying is I paid for a ticket, so my belief is that in law I can show I've had no intent to defraud anybody.
Yeah.
I haven't travelled this network trying to travel without a ticket, and I can evidence that. And so I did not intend to give these people my personal details. I don't believe they're empowered to take them, and I'm not going to give them to you. Should you, of course, arrest me, I will, of course, give you my personal details, and I will abide by the empowerment that you have. But I think, frankly, I can travel the country, I can go to Reading, I can go to Manchester, I can go all over the place, get a ticket, I can tap my phone on devices. It's only here in Liverpool that we seem to have this archaic system with these people who cause these problems for people who are just trying to pay for tickets and go about their daily business, minding their own business, which is all I'm trying to do.
Right, okay. Obviously, when you do purchase your ticket on the train line, you do have to tick to the terms and conditions that you have to print it off.
I don't know, nobody ever reads that stuff.
As you say, on this network here for Merseyrail, they do require you to have the said ticket printed off, ready for inspection at the gate or at the barriers.
The officer tries to justify things by pointing to Merseyrail's rules, saying Alex agreed to print his ticket when he checked the box online. But Alex is right. Most people don't read every line of that fine print. Merseyrail's website even says that only some tickets bought through third parties need to be printed before traveling. If Alex bought his ticket directly and can prove payment, that argument doesn't hold. The officer completely misses the point. Alex isn't trying to avoid paying. He's standing right by a ticket machine, ready to print his ticket. This shows he's following the rules, not breaking them. The problem isn't a missing ticket, it's that common sense got ignored in favor of blindly following rules.
What I would say is that, anybody can have a policy. Anybody can make a rule. Yeah? Doesn't mean it's a criminal offence, doesn't mean it's a civil offence. I don't believe I've committed an offence. I mean, they may think I've broken their procedures and policies. That's fine. I don't believe I've committed any offence because I've paid money for a ticket to travel, and I can prove that.
Yeah,
so where is my offence?
No, but you have got your ticket, but you've not printed the said ticket off.
Where's my civil or criminal offence?
But you should have printed it off before you travelled.
You could say you've got to stand on... Sorry to interrupt.
No, it does say, obviously, on the train stations and on the trains, that you have to have your ticket ready to present to these guys. And if you have it on the phone, which is the actual ticket, yours isn't the actual ticket. Yours is proof to say you've purchased a ticket, but you've not yet you've not yet printed that said ticket
I see what you're saying. My point is that what's happened, you could have a rule on the terms and conditions on Merseyrail saying everybody on the train has to stand on one leg, and everybody would have to stand on one leg, and you could threaten people if they didn't stand on one leg.
Alex makes his point perfectly. He's not breaking the law, he's only breaking a company rule, and that's very different. The law says you must pay your fare before traveling, which he did. He has proof of purchase, the code, and can print the ticket right there. What Merseyrail is trying to enforce isn't law, it's just their company policy, and no one can be arrested for not following a business rule. When Alex makes his joke about standing on one leg, it shows just how ridiculous the situation is. Merseyrail can make any rule they want, but that doesn't give them, or the police, the power to treat it like law. This moment shows the difference between Alex using common sense and officers blindly enforcing pointless corporate rules.
Not breaking the law if people don't do it, they're breaking your rules. And that's the difference I'm trying to get across to you.
This is their bylaws that it is a ticket period, which we do have to have a said ticket to come onto the station, and for as soon as you board the train, you should have a ticket of travel, unless your train station is closed and then you've taken a picture to say it's closed. Come to these guys and they will sell you a ticket.
It's often closed, it's often nobody there, and then it would be fine.
But you've purchased your ticket already, but unfortunately, because you haven't printed it off, you should have printed it off before you travelled.
So my point to you again is that I've looked at the bylaws, and I may be wrong, but I've read the bylaws, and my understanding of the bylaws is that they say if you break these bylaws, you may be taken to court. And if you're taken to court, and it can be shown that there's an intent to defraud, you may be prosecuted. Now, I can show there was no intent to defraud. So if we go to court, it's all going to be very annoying for me, very embarrassing for Merseyrail, but I can show there was no intent to defraud. So I don't believe that I'm in any kind of, situation where I've broken these bylaws.
Alex handles this perfectly, and it really shows how little the officer understands the rules. He's talking about Bylaw 18 of the Railway Bylaws 2005, which deals with traveling without a ticket in areas where tickets aren't compulsory. The important part is with intent to avoid payment. That means someone has to be deliberately trying to skip paying, not just confused or making a mistake, and definitely not someone who is already paid and can prove it. Alex isn't trying to cheat. There's no intent to commit a crime. These railway rules are meant to catch people avoiding fares, not honest travelers who have already paid.
So the train line tickets, as you said rightly, you have to print out the tickets. If it's not printed out, it's not valid to travel on the train.
I know this is what the lady said to me.
It's not valid on the train.
And what I'm saying is that
Can I just explain to you?
Yes.
What happened is sometimes people buy train line tickets. They don't print it. They do the journey. They complete the journey. What happens is they get refunded.
Well, that would be terrible.
They got refunded.
That would be terrible.
Okay, so some people does that. Okay, I'm not saying you do.
No.
Your intention to do that.
Specifically,
on these occasions.
Specifically, I asked these people to let me go just over there, to print the ticket. And they would see I'd printed the ticket, and they would know that it had been paid.
Their understanding would be, if they went here, you would have done the journey, and you got the refunded as well from the train line, which some people does that.
This PCSO's logic is completely ridiculous and shows how quickly lazy assumptions turn into false accusations. He's basically saying, you might have done something wrong if we weren't here, which isn't how the law works. That's not policing, it's guessing. You can't accuse someone of fraud based on a made-up scenario. Alex even offered to print his ticket right there at the machine, proving he had already paid and wasn't trying to cheat. The PCSO's argument falls apart on its own. If Alex really wanted to cheat, he wouldn't be standing in front of officers insisting on showing proof of payment.
You can deal with them as a civil matter, as you said.
Yes.
Yeah. You can give your details to them.
Well, I'm not going to do that.
And if you don't, then the police get involved.
Yep.
Police get involved.
As
indeed
the
criminal matter.
Yes.
Where it is dealt as a ticket fraud.
Yeah, and that's what we're going to do.
Yeah.
Because I'm not giving these people my details. Because I've paid for a ticket.
This is what's happening now.
There cannot be ticket fraud.
Okay.
Because I've paid for the ticket.
Well, that's no valid ticket.
There's no intention to defraud in law.
Well, we don't know because.
Well, I can prove it. I mean, I can show you the receipt and I can get it printed. There's no intention to
as
defraud.
I say, it's not valid.
Okay, well, you know, if we have
reliably informed, that's not a valid ticket. It's a reference number for a ticket.
Well, I've had all three of you inform me that.
You should have printed your ticket off before you travel.
So, can I just go and print the ticket off?
No, you should have done it before you travel.
Oh, I see. So
you can't travel without
so you're going to take me to court because you won't let me print a ticket. Okay, well, let's do it then. What do we do next?
Obviously, you need to provide your details to these people here. Can I just ask, is there a reason why you don't want to?
Yeah, because I don't believe they're empowered to take them, and I don't believe I have to give them to
They do have the power to take your details.
No, they don't.
They do. They are accredited.
I don't believe that.
The BTP officers claim that the ticket inspectors were accredited and could legally demand Alex's details is completely wrong. Ticket inspectors aren't police. They only have powers under railway bylaws, which let them ask for your name and address only if they reasonably believe you're deliberately avoiding payment. That clearly doesn't apply to Alex. What makes it worse is the officer's blind confidence. Instead of checking what powers the inspectors actually had, she just accepted their word and used it to pressure Alex. That's not helping. They were just passing judgment to people with no police authority. It's lazy, it's unlawful, and it shows why the public loses trust. One officer's ignorance can turn a simple civil matter into an arrestable mess.
Arrested, I will give my details to the arresting police officer when hearing the basis upon which I'm being arrested, because that will then be used in the court of law.
Right, at the moment, I do have a necessity because you're not failing to provide your details.
I will not provide my details until I'm arrested.
Yeah. Why would I want to arrest you?
Well, I don't want you to arrest me, but
I don't want to arrest you and take you to custody.
Yeah,
and
I really
you've
don't
got
want
a
that
meeting
either.
to get to.
I really don't want
I've still got things to do today, obviously.
I'm not going to be pressured into giving people my details. I have a right I have the right to privacy. I will not give people my details and they're pressuring me to do that. I don't believe you have a right to take my details until you arrest me. If you arrest me, if there's a basis for you to arrest me, and you arrest me, and you tell me why I'm being arrested, I will of course comply and I will of course give my details. That's
you
just
haven't
normal.
got the ticket.
I have paid for the ticket,
but
and I
that's
can
just
print that
reference
ticket
number.
just over there.
Yes, but you should have printed the ticket before you travel.
And you're going to arrest me for that.
I am going to arrest you for failing to provide a valid ticket to travel, okay?
So you're going to arrest me for
my
failing
necessity
to,
is
sorry, to, for
my
failing
necessity
for failing to
provide a valid ticket for
okay.
travel, which you don't have on your person. You have a reference number, so I will arrest you for the offence.
And you won't let me print that to show you that I have a ticket?
Because you've already passed the point where you could have printed the ticket
so you won't allow me to print the ticket?
Okay. Obviously when I've finished dealing with you then, you can go and print the ticket off. That's fine.
Yep.
Okay. Do you want to come to our office and we'll speak out the way?
Yeah,
and we'll take it from there.
Okay.
All right. Do you want to follow this way? Thank you.
From the very start, this should have been resolved in seconds. Alex clearly said he had already paid for his ticket. He just didn't have time to print it because he was in a rush. He had proof on his phone, the booking code, and he was standing right next to a ticket machine where he could print it immediately. This wasn't avoiding payment, it was just common sense in action. Alex was being honest, cooperative, and ready to show proof right away. Any reasonable officer or rail staff would have checked his booking, confirmed it, and let him go. Instead, a simple 30-second check turned into an unnecessary escalation. The officer tried to justify the situation by pointing to Merseyrail's rules, saying Alex agreed to print his ticket when he ticked the box online. But most people don't read all that fine print, and Merseyrail's website makes it clear that only some tickets bought through third parties need to be printed. Alex bought his ticket directly and could prove payment, so their argument didn't apply. The officer completely missed the point. Alex wasn't refusing to pay. He was literally standing next to a ticket machine, ready to comply. This wasn't about a missing ticket. It was about common sense being ignored in favor of blindly following rules. Alex made it clear that he wasn't breaking the law, only a company rule. Paying the fare is what the law requires, which he had done with proof at the ready. Merseyrail's policies are company rules, not criminal law, and no one can be arrested for failing to follow them. When Alex joked about standing on one leg to highlight the absurdity, it perfectly showed how ridiculous the situation was. This was logic versus blind enforcement of corporate rules. He also referenced Bylaw 18 of the Railway Bylaws 2005, which deals with traveling without a ticket where it's not compulsory. The law only applies if someone acts with intent to avoid payment. Alex had no intention to cheat. He had already paid and could prove it. These rules are meant for people trying to dodge fares, not honest travelers. The PCSO's logic was even worse. He implied Alex might have done something wrong if they weren't there, which isn't how the law works. That's guessing, not policing. Alex was offering to print his ticket right next to the machine, showing he had already paid. If he had actually wanted to cheat, he wouldn't have been insisting on proving payment in front of officers. The BTP officer also got it wrong by claiming ticket inspectors could legally demand Alex's details. Inspectors aren't police. They can only ask for your name and address if you reasonably believe you're deliberately avoiding payment. That didn't apply to Alex. Instead of checking, the officer blindly followed the inspector's word, pressuring him without authority. This shows how one officer's ignorance can turn a simple matter into an arrestable situation. The decision to arrest Alex was unbelievable. He had already paid and could prove it immediately, but the officer claimed his ticket was invalid for not printing it in advance. A quick check could have solved everything. Instead, compliance was punished and procedure rewarded over common sense, turning a minor mix-up into an unlawful arrest. Alex's updates show the absurdity. After arrest, interview, and de-arrest, the officers did exactly what Alex suggested from the start: walk him to the machine to print his ticket. Legally, Alex was solid. Paying for the ticket is the law. Printing it is just a bylaw requirement. Not printing it doesn't make someone guilty of fare evasion. It only gives the company the option to act if there's intent to defraud. Since Alex had paid and could prove it, there was never any criminal basis for an offense. That the transport police didn't prosecute him later just proves how weak the case was from the start. Alex knew he was in the right the whole time. He had paid, had no intent to deceive, and could rely on the law to back him up. He also pointed out how Merseyrail could have quietly pushed a fine through a single justice procedure, something he now calls unlawful. What began as a simple ticket issue exposed a bigger problem: companies and sometimes police bending administrative rules to enforce unfairly, counting on people not to challenge it. Alex's persistence showed exactly how common sense can stand up against blind bureaucracy.